back to Study Sprint. In today's video, we're going to be going through the topic of upper and lower bonds. So upper and lower bonds show us where the actual value of a rounded number can lie. The lower bound is the smallest actual value the number can be and still be rounded up to the number in the question. The upper bound is the biggest actual value the number can be and still be rounded down to the number in the question. So let's take a look at an example. So for example, the question says that 10 has been rounded to the nearest whole number. State the lower and upper bonds. So we know that the number is 10. So I'm going to write 10 over here. And we know that it has been rounded to the nearest whole number. So either it has been rounded up or it has been rounded down. To do that, we're going to look at the nearest whole numbers on either side of 10. So we have 9 on this side and we have 11 on this side. Now we have to figure out numbers on this side first to figure out the lower one that round up to give 10. So if we take 9.5, we can see that 9.5 rounds up to give 10. So 9.5 is going to be our lower bound. So for our upper bound, we know that 10.4, so somewhere near here, we have 10.4. 10.4 is going to round down to give me 10. If I take 10.5, that's going to round up because 5 will round up. So that's going to go to 11. However, we could also have a case where we have 10.4999. And this 9 goes on and on. So now if you look at this 10.499 continuously, this rounds to 10.5. So this is rounded to 10.5. So that's why we're going to take our upper bound as 10.5. Just to make it easy, we don't write 10.49999. So we write it as 10.5. So our lower bound is going to be 9.5 and our upper bound is going to be 10.5. Now let's move on. So remember that the actual value is anything up to half a unit bigger or smaller. So now let's take a look at another example. So for example, the question is that you have to give the lower and upper bounds of the measurement 645 kg measured to the nearest kg. So the question is that you have to give the upper and lower bounds of 645 kg, and this has been rounded to the nearest kg. Okay, so now you have to go through 3 steps in this procedure to figure out. The first one is to identify the place value of the degree of accuracy stated. Now the degree of accuracy is that this number has been rounded to a certain point. So the degree of accuracy is the point that how much it has been rounded. So in this case, it has been rounded to nearest kg. So nearest kg is the same as if I would write 1 over here. So 1 kg. So this has been rounded to the nearest 1 kg. So 1 kg is the degree of accuracy which has been stated. Step 2 is to divide this place by 2. To divide the degree of accuracy by 2. So I'm going to do 1 divided by 2. That's going to give me 0.5. And the third step is that add this amount to the given value to find the upper bound and subtract this amount from the given value to find the lower bound. So this amount that we have, this number over here, if you have to find the upper bound, we add it to our number over here, which is 645. And if you have to figure out the lower bound, you subtract it from 645. So first I'm going to do lower bound. So for lower bound, I have to subtract 0.5 from 645. And this gives me 644.5. So this is my lower bond. And now if I want to figure out my upper bond, so I have my upper bond. I'm going to use the same value, but this time I'm going to add it. So 645 plus 0.5, which is going to equal to 645.5. So that shows us that this is our lower bond and this is our higher bond. Now we can also write these bonds as error intervals. So now I'm going to show you how you can write these bonds, lower and upper bonds, as error intervals. So now I'm going to write kg, or you can write weight or anything. So I'm writing kg. kg is greater than or equals to the lower bond, so 644.5, and less than the upper bond, which is 645.5. So now let's read this. What this says is that the kg, the weight, so this is for weight. This weight can be greater than or equal to 644.5 because 644.5 rounds up to give us 645. So it can be 644.5 or greater than 644.5. However, it can only be less than 645.5. And it cannot be equal to 645.5 because if we round 645.5, this is going to give you 646. So this is rounding up, but we want to round it to 645. Now let's move on. So now we're going to do a few questions. The first question is that a length is given as 12 meters when rounded to the nearest meter. State its lower and upper bonds. So we know that our length over here is 12 meters. Yes? And then it's rounded to the nearest meter. Now over here, again, we don't have a value. So we're assuming it as 1 because when we don't have anything, it's going to be 1 meter. So that means that our place value of our degree of accuracy, the place value of the degree of accuracy is 1 meters. Now our first step was to identify the place value of the degree of accuracy stated. So that means a degree of accuracy is 1 meter. We figured that out. Then our second step was to divide this value by 2. So 1 divided by 2 is going to give me 0.5. And then if I have to find my lower bond, I'm going to subtract this from my length. So 12 minus 0.5. And now I'm going to calculate it. So 12 minus 0.5 is going to give me 11.5. Now the upper bond. So to find the upper bond, I'm going to add 0.5 to 12. So 12 plus 0.5. So that is going to give me 12.5. And then we're going to write meters over here. So my lower bond is 11.5 meters. So this is the lowest value that the length can be of. And my upper bond is 12.5 meters. So this is the greatest value that the length can be for. So now if you want to understand this visually on the scale, so now I'm going to show you how you can visually understand this. So let's take an example that this point over here is going to be my 12. Now we know that it's rounded to the nearest meter. So I'm going to go 1 meter back over here, and this is my 11 meters. This is 12 meters. And then 1 meter forward, so I'm assuming this gap as a 1 meter gap. And this is 13 meters. And now I have to figure out my lower and upper bonds. So from a lower bond over here, I can take this point as 11.5 meters. Because this is my lowest value that will round up to give me 12. If I go to 11.4, 11.3, that is going to round down to 11, not to 12 meters. So 11.5 is my lowest value that can round to 12 meters. What about my upper bond? So my upper bond is going to be 12.4 meters. Yes, but this can also be 12.4999 recurring. So this is going to round down to give me 12 meters. However, because this can be the situation, and if we have 9s recurring, that's going to round this up to 12.5 meters. So that is why, to make it easy, we write this. We don't write it as 12.4 meters. We're going to make this into 12.5 meters. So 12.5 meters. So again, I've got the same answer. My lower bond is 11.5 meters and my upper bond is 12.5 meters. So our next question is, find the maximum and minimum perimeter of a square garden with size of 4 meters measured to the nearest meter. So now in this case, we know that the side is 4 meters. So I'm going to label this as 4 meters. And now I have to find the maximum and minimum perimeter of the square garden. So what I'm going to do is, I'm first going to find out that my upper and lower bonds for 4 meters. So I have 4 meters. So 4 meters is my rounded length, rounded length. And now it is measured to the nearest meter. So again, when it says nearest meter and it does not have any value, that means it's 1 meter. So my accuracy stated, degree of accuracy is going to be 1 meter. So 1 meter is my degree of accuracy. So now I figured out my degree of accuracy. My second step is to divide my degree of accuracy by 2. So 1 divided by 2, which is equal to 0.5. Now first I'm finding my lower bond. So my lower bond is going to be 4 minus 0.5, which is going to equal 3.5. However, my upper bond is going to be 4 plus 0.5, which is going to equal 4.5. So my upper bond is 4.5 meters and my lower bond is 3.5 meters. Now I have to find the maximum and minimum perimeter of the square garden. So to do that, I'm going to keep my lower bound and upper bound, and instead of finding the perimeter with 4 meters with this value, I'm going to use these values over here. So now my maximum perimeter, P is for perimeter, is going to be equal to 4 times the length. So I'm going to take the length of the upper bond because my maximum perimeter is going to be the upper bond length, which is 4.5 meters. So 4 times 4.5. So now I'm going to multiply 4 by 4.5, which is going to equal 18. So that's giving me 18 meters. Now my minimum perimeter. So for my minimum perimeter, I'm going to use my lower bound. So minimum perimeter is going to equal 4 times my lower bound length, which is 3.5. So now I'm going to multiply 4 by 3.5, which is equal to 14. So 14 meters. So that shows that my maximum perimeter is 18 meters and my minimum perimeter is 14 meters. Okay, so now our next question is, Sarah needs to sew a ribbon border onto a rectangular tablecloth. If the tablecloth measures 2.55 meters by 3.45 meters to the nearest centimeter, what is the longest length of ribbon that could be needed? So now she's sewing this ribbon border, and we know that the tablecloth measured 2.55 times by 3.45. So this side is going to be, the width is going to be 2.55 meters, and this part over here is going to be 3.45 because this is longer meters to the nearest centimeter. Now you can see that these units over here have changed. The measurements that we have been given are in meters, however, they have been rounded in centimeters. So what we can do is that we can convert them. Actually, we have to convert them, but it's up to you how you want to convert them. If you want to convert them from centimeter to meters or meter to centimeters. So I'm going to convert them from meters to centimeters. So I know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So to convert this, I have to multiply this by 100. So this is going to become 345 centimeters. And this is going to become 255 centimeters. So centimeters and centimeters. So now what is the longest length of ribbon that could be needed? So over here, we know that the word longest tells us that we have to find the upper bounds. So first of all, our first step is to identify the place value or the degree of accuracy stated. So, and it says nearest centimeter, that means that 1 centimeter is our degree of accuracy. Our second step is to divide this place by 2. So we're going to do 1 divided by 2, which is going to give us 0.5. Now to find the longest length, we need to find the upper bound. So the upper bound is going to equal our original length, 5. So first let's do it with 2.5 meters, which we have been converted to 255 centimeters. So 255 plus 0.5 will give me 255.5. And then this is our first value. Our second one is 3.45 meters, which have been converted to 345 centimeters. So 345 centimeters plus 0.5, which is going to equal 345.5. And then we have centimeters. Now it says that she needs to sew a ribbon border. Now obviously the ribbon border is not all over the table. It's only on the sides of the table. So all of this part on the tablecloth. So for example, if this is our tablecloth, it's only going to be on the sides of the tablecloth. That means that we need to figure out the perimeter of the tablecloth. So today I'm going to use these values to figure out my perimeter. So P is going to equal to, because it's rectangle, so the perimeter is going to equal 2L plus 2B. 2 times length plus 2 times B, because we have two breadths of the same length and two lengths of the same, two lengths and two breadths in the same values. So I have 2 times length, so our length is 345.5 centimeters plus 2 times our breadth, which is 255.5. So this is equals to 1,202 centimeters. So the longest length of ribbon that could be needed is 1,202 centimeters of ribbon. Now you can see that because our original values, 2.55 meters and 3.45 meters, were given in meters, so that means that now we can convert the centimeters back into meters, because we only converted it first into centimeters to make it easier, because by converting it to centimeters, we converted the decimal numbers into whole numbers. So now I'm going to convert this again into meters. So this is going to be 12.02 meters, because I'm going to divide this by 100. Like I multiplied it by 100 to give me that number in centimeters. Now again, I'm going to divide it by 100. So my answer is going to be 12.02 meters. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with others. For more updates, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the notification bell.